Hey guys, this is Khan, TDK Mr. So Real, and in today's video I have a very special request from one of the guys who viewed my last video on the SOCOM M1A. His name is Tanvir Ahmed. I hope I didn't mess up his name. He says, help, I have a ton of attachments, but I don't know what would be optimal. I'm rocking weapon damage with initial headshot, that kind of shit. So today's video I'm going to cover attachments, and I'm going to talk about some attachments, things that I would recommend, but ultimately it comes down to you and your playstyle. But briefly in this video, I just want to talk about what the attachments are, what are they good for, and then hopefully it'll give you some information to make the right decision for what is best for you. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and let's get started. Down you go.
Damn!
Down you go.
It was a drop.
Okay, so now let's talk about 4 of the major factors that impact your decision when you think about what are the attachments and what they actually do. The first thing is accuracy. Then you want to talk about horizontal stability, initial bullet stability, and regular stability. Now, what is accuracy? So accuracy is when you aim down sight, the reticle moves. So if I aim at the head and I shoot, it opens and then it closes. Opens and closes, opens and closes, opens and closes. So with the accuracy perk, what that will do is make sure that the reticle stays closed, or it closes faster than if you did not have it. Horizontal stability, which is different from accuracy, is about the horizontal movement, the left to right movement when you fire the weapon. So if I look at this and I'm aiming right on his head and I fire, it goes up and to the right, up and to the right. This time just up and to the right a little, and up and to the left, up and way to the right. So the guns have sway, which is when you just aim and you don't hold the stick, the controller kind of moves. I'm not touching the stick at all and it kind of moves. So this is something that you also have to think about. There are perks that remove sway from a weapon for 10 seconds. I don't remember the name of it exactly, but there are some perks that help with that. But again, horizontal stability is about shooting and the weapon going left or right. Now, initial bullet stability. This is when you fire, your first bullet is more stable, letting you get off a second shot that would help, you to be able to shoot more often and on target easier. Stability, which is the last thing that I want to talk about right here, is being able to shoot a weapon and not have it jump around on you. So if I look at my MP5, which is the way that I want it, it has all of the mods that I want on it. If I look at stability, I can hold this down, and even though it has some vertical recoil on it, it's very manageable for me. I can aim for the head and pretty much hit it as I see fit. So now let's look at some of the mods that we have available regarding the stability, which I think is the most important thing when you're talking about faster firing sniper rifles and auto rifles, and even to some degree submachine guns, and definitely with the larger LMG weapons. So one thing that we can look at, and this is just an example to help you see the difference. Very quickly, we'll do this one more time. If you look at the weapon with nothing on it. If I aim at the head, I pull the trigger, it goes up and to the left. And we'll do this 5 times. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? So that's with me compensating for it a little bit, but it goes pretty much up and to the right most of the time. Now what we can do is looking at the first type of grip. We have initial bullet stability and we have hip fire. So with initial bullet stability, this should try to correct the recoil a little bit and help us to get that first shot off and not worry too much about things. So we'll go here. Much better. Now you see on that second and third shot, it jumped a lot more. And that's because the initial bullet stability is for the first bullet. So we can go 1, and it almost instantly jumps back. I almost overcorrected. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now I'm way over here after doing about 5 shots. But those first couple of shots were a lot closer to the target. The next thing that we can look at in terms of mods would be something that has stability. This, in my opinion, if you can get a grip like this that has stability plus horizontal stability for a faster firing sniper rifle, you are in business. This is what you really need. A lot of people talk about balanced, and balanced is really good for having the reticle zoom in with the accuracy. The accuracy is full, but it doesn't correct stability. So there is still recoil in the weapon. But if you try something like this with stability plus horizontal stability, it's night and day. Check this out. So we're going to go in, aim at the head. Look at that. It jumped, but it's pretty accurate. Because of sway, the gun is moving around, but that's really because of the sway of the weapon. This, when you fire it, it's drifting off a little bit, but that's just the way that this game works with this sway mechanic. So you could really kind of see where stability dumbs down the recoil a little bit and keeps you a little bit closer to the target. I think more than initial bullet stability. Now, I will make the argument to say that initial bullet stability is very, very good for slower firing sniper rifles. The ones that are 300 RPM and 200, I think it's 250 or something like that, 200 plus RPM, those rifles are meant to be fired a bit faster, whereas you have the ones that are 50, 56 or somewhere around there. Those are a lot slower, and you have more time to adjust your shots. And the initial bullet stability, I believe, kicks in a bit better because you have more time for the weapon to settle down and you're not rapidly firing shots. Looking at other attachments, again, accuracy, we can look at this. This should get the reticle in faster. So if I fire, it's back into the headshot area a lot faster. So if you can manage your recoil, right? Again, this goes back to gun skill. If you can manage your recoil, then maybe having a more accurate weapon is good for you, because you really just need to put that reticle where it needs to be and you can just pull the trigger. Whereas if you did not have that accuracy, it would take you longer to get used to where you want your shot to go next. And of course, this is the shooting range, so the targets aren't really moving, whereas when you play the actual game, people are going diagonally and rolling and ducking in cover and all this other stuff. So there's a lot of things you want to think about. Here is another grip that is accuracy and horizontal stability. I would prefer these types of grips if you're going to go for a grip. I think they're really good. Or you can just go for something with accuracy depending on your gun skill and how good you are at using a particular weapon. That's your preference and your choice, and you have to make that decision. Moving on to the muzzles. The muzzles usually deal with accuracy. If I were to suggest anything, I would suggest accuracy and critical hit damage, or weapon damage if you can get it. Reduced threat can be good if you're in a team and you're in the back and you don't want to take too much fire. It could be a really good thing. That's what I would suggest. Try to get something that would give you a bit more damage and accuracy if possible. If not, then just keep playing the game, and hopefully you'll get some things that will benefit you. And this bumps damage by a lot, 35%. Let's see. So magazine. Comes to magazine, rate of fire is king for submachine guns and auto rifles and things like that. Personally, I would go with critical hit damage. In my playstyle, I prefer to go for damage over a few of the other things. I can pretty much control a lot of the recoil on my weapons, and sometimes I shoot even when the weapon is not zoomed in, because I have a pretty good sense of where the bullet is going to go, and the auto aim assist is pretty good in this game. They let you get away with quite a few things, but magazine size and critical hit damage are good. Critical hit chance could be good if you're using maybe a submachine gun, just because you would up your critical hit chance more if you don't have a lot of critical hit chance, but you could also use critical hit damage as well. The best of the best, if you really got something lucky enough, is weapon damage. And weapon damage has nothing to do with criticals at all, and it's just pure damage straight out of the box. So if your weapon damage is up and you have a good magazine size, this is really going to get you to where you want to be. Okay, so now looking at the scope, I'm going to go with the 15 times scope. I generally like 15 times scopes. They work well for me, and I really like them when enemies are in cover. This is really good because the tip of their head shows, and it's easier to get them out of cover or hit them with a headshot so that they stand up and the rest of the team can fire, or you can finish them off. Headshot damage is always a good plus with sniper rifles, and accuracy is also very good. If you could get something with, I don't even know if you can, but if you could get headshot damage and critical hit chance, that would be amazing, or critical hit damage. Accuracy is good, and I think accuracy is really good for keeping you in the fight, but is it the end all be all? That's really about you and your particular gun skill. So this is how I have my first wave M1A spec'd out, and those are my thoughts about how you should spec out your gun. Hopefully this video is helpful to you guys who are thinking about how do you spec your weapon. If you're talking about snipers, this is one way to do it, and I hope it explained some of the things that the attachments are good for and what they're used for. Now again, a lot of this is about personal gun skill, so use this at your discretion and use this the best way you can. If you have any other questions or any comments or things that I may have missed or kind of gone over, please feel free to leave something in the comment section. I try my best to answer as many and all of the questions as I can. I'm still a small YouTuber, so a lot of this stuff is, just me doing the best that I can. So I appreciate all the likes and the views. You guys are really giving me a lot to look forward to when I make these videos. So I appreciate all the help and all the support. And yeah, just remember that when you decide to spec out your weapon, do it the best way you can, and do it for how you play and what you like to do when you play. Alright, Until the next time, this is Khan, TDK Mr. So Real. Take care, have fun, and enjoy those sniper rifles.